Be honest. How long have you been carrying things that were never yours to hold? Other people's problems, other people's emotions, other people's responsibilities, other people's chaos. And somehow you became the person trying to hold everything together. Let's be real for a second. A lot of people are emotionally exhausted. Not because they're weak, but because they've been carrying too much for too long. Trying to save everybody. Trying to fix everybody. Trying to be the strong one all the time. And eventually, that kind of weight starts changing you. Because emotional exhaustion, it doesn't always look dramatic. Sometimes it just looks like constantly feeling drained. Like waking up tired before the day even starts. Like handling work, bills, responsibilities, family, life, while silently trying to keep yourself together at the same time. And people don't talk about that enough. They don't talk about the part where you're still functioning, but mentally and emotionally, you're tired. Not lazy, not ungrateful, not weak. Just exhausted. Some of y'all aren't lazy. You're emotionally exhausted. And there's a difference. Because when you spend so much time carrying everybody else, you stop checking in with yourself. You stop asking what you need. You stop paying attention to how heavy everything feels. You just go into survival mode. And survival mode changes people. You become shorter with people, more emotionally disconnected, less excited about things that you used to care about. You isolate more. You overthink more. You start feeling emotionally numb. Sometimes because your mind never really gets a break. And the scary part is, you can get so used to surviving that exhaustion starts feeling normal. You start telling yourself, I'm fine. I'm just tired. I'll deal with it later. But later kept getting pushed further and further away. Be for real. How many times have you ignored your own emotional needs because everybody else needed something from you? How many times have you poured into people while feeling completely empty yourself? How many times have you kept showing up for everybody else while silently falling apart? That kind of imbalance will drain you. Every single time. And sometimes the hardest thing to admit is you can't keep saving people who don't want to save themselves. You can love people support people, pray for people, be there for people. But at some point, you have to stop carrying responsibilities that belong to grown adults. Because constantly carrying people emotionally will make you lose yourself if you're not careful. And I think a lot of people struggle with guilt around that. Guilt around setting boundaries. Guilt for saying no. Guilt for stepping back. Guilt for choosing themselves for once. But protecting your peace is not selfish. Resting is not selfish. Taking care of your mental health is not selfish. And honestly, a lot of people were taught to feel guilty anytime they stop overextending themselves. That's why some people feel emotionally trapped. Because they spent so much time being everything for everybody else. They don't even know who they are outside of helping people. And that's heavy. Especially when you're fighting your own battles quietly. Especially when you're trying to function while battling depression. Especially when life keeps lifing and you still have no choice but to keep going. That kind of pressure changes people. And sometimes people don't realize how bad it's gotten until they finally sit still long enough to feel it. At some point, you have to ask yourself something honest. Who's pouring back into me? Who's checking on me? Who's making sure I'm okay? Because you cannot constantly pour from an empty place and expect yourself not to crash eventually. And rest is important. Peace is important. Mental health is important. You are important. You deserve relationships where support goes both ways. You deserve spaces where you don't always have to be the strong one. You deserve moments where you can breathe without carrying the emotional weight of everybody around you. And maybe that's the real lesson. Everybody cannot keep becoming your responsibility, not at the expense of yourself. Because some of y'all have spent so much time surviving for everybody else that you forgot you deserve care too. So if this hit, maybe it's time to stop asking yourself, how much more can I carry? And start asking, what do I need to finally put down? Because emotional exhaustion is real. And constantly carrying everybody else while abandoning yourself in the process will eventually break you. And if this hit, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Because this is the kind of real conversation that we're having over here. This is Sass With Faith. Real talk, real faith.